we went to the roof of your place when you were in Midtown, and we all came up, and I think we were all tranced out, and like there were like these. It was like 4th of July, and there were like these like old ladies, and they were like, "Oh, where did you guys come from?" And we all just started fucking with them. They were just like, you know, they were so like they were curious, but they were just so like taken aback, like, "Oh my god, these people are crazy."
Rosalyn Jones, known you for decades as Luna. You're a beloved friend, you're a teacher, you're an artist, you're a traveler, you're very embodied IRL. We are remote right now. What do you think would change if we were in the same space together?
I would be, simultaneously a little bit more nervous, but also relaxed at the same time because I would be in your, lovely presence and in your lovely homestead where, it would be nice to like have that connection with you. So, I'd be kind of like a bit more nervous because it would seem like a little bit more official, but then I'd also be a bit more chill as well. There would also be like a type of like eye contact. So I'm like doing my best to make eye contact with the camera, but like as somebody that was raised, neurodivergent, definitely on the spectrum, eye contact is something that was kind of like forced into me. So there would be a better eye contact and like definitely more of a connection if we were, IRL. Um, I'd be elated to be at the farm, so I'd be like a lot happier. I'd be not in this like crap weather, it'd be a lot warmer, a lot nicer. And then like even after this portion is over, I would still be with you. So it would make me really happy. Yeah, that's what would be different.
What do you think changes about your interactions when you share the same space?
When so we were talking about sharing the space, right? Like something like at the DMV, like that's to me, that's not sharing space. That's just kind of being in your still in your own bubble, but with other people. So what is different when like you're sharing a space is now the bubble's dissolved, right? And now you have to kind of engage in a different way. When you are engaging in a shared space, there's now body language. There's now, I guess, vibes, right? You can feel what the other person is feeling. There's that sense of making that eye contact. There's that sense of picking up on different types of language that can't be transmitted remote. Um, and everything is like in real time, right? So there's no editing in IRL, right? Everything is in real time. So you kind of have to you kind of have to internally buffer what you're going to say, like what you're going to project, how you're going to come across to other people in the shared space.
I also think that conversation flows easier when you're in the same space.
Okay. So you think more people want to be like speaking in real life instead of like having a phone call? Because I feel like a lot of people want to text more.
You are a wise and experienced teacher. You've taught both in person and remotely over the decades. I'm curious, what happens when learning and social interactions are in real life? And then what changes when learning and those same social interactions become 100% remote?
We've heard with homeschool parents, one of their biggest concerns is the socialization of their children, right? If they're home all the time, they can't build those like social structures or, get social cues from their peers. So, or how to exist in a group. So, talking primarily as a teacher that has taught in brick and mortar and in real life, uh, children kind of need that socialization. So that's, you know, obviously the learning part is the most important, but when it really does come to children socializing with their peers, they learn about social cues. They learn about, and this is maybe a this is for another time, about social hierarchies. It's good for kids to be able to kind of understand that about, the human experience. Those do exist. They even learn how to interact with those that are not their peers, right? So learning how to interact with adults, learning how to interact with strangers, learning how to interact with acquaintances. I wanted to kind of talk about like the senses. So children, especially if they're developing, young children, elementary is what I've usually worked with. They need to be able to touch, right? They need to have that sense of touch and smell, and usually that smells related to memory. Um, Textiles and um, building, and just kind of having that like dexterous experience with like different materials, writing, right? Um, different types of movement. When they're remote, a lot of that is lost, right? They're in the same spot, so they're, you know when it comes to their movements or any sort of like motor skills, now they're typing or scrolling or clicking, and that's about all they're doing, right? They're not building, they're not touching different things, um, making a mess, they're not, painting, they're not writing, and this is detrimental, especially for their development. And then also too, when it goes to socialization, they don't get that social hierarchy. They don't get that problem solving that they would do with other kids in the moment. They don't use their imaginations and come together and create something.
How would you draw a parallel between what you just described about children and how they learn IRL and social interaction and social hierarchy to the way so many adults feel isolated and are just glued to their devices and not spending enough time IRL?
It's so strange. All right. I feel that since this technology is all so new, that children and adults are kind of learning at the same rate. Um, I can see it with myself. I could see it with my parents, even, and then I could also see it with my, nephew. All three different age groups, right? Teen, middle age, elderly, and we're all trying to learn how to regulate our screen time and this information all simultaneously. It's affecting us kind of all at the same rate, but developmentally, we're a bit different, right? Like my nephew would need that guidance to learn how to self-regulate. I kind of know, but I feel like my, my parents or the elderly might have a maybe have a better idea of how to get off of their screens and into real life because that's what they've been doing most of their lives. Uh, you know, for myself as well, I do have to regulate. It's a little bit harder, but I have to say, okay, I need to get off of these screens and into the real world where I have to interact with people. Even as a someone who's introverted and neurodivergent, at some point, I'm like, I have to get out into the real world. Whereas my 15-year-old nephew might, he's grown up with this sort of technology and it's kind of all encompassed. So he might not feel, and I've seen it before, he might not feel as connected to going out into the real, into real life and connecting with others where it's primarily been his screen.
Jungle fire! You and I have spent plenty of time together in real life, much of it on the dance floor, much of it in nature. How does being in natural settings change your relationship with others?
So, what I'm about to say might go against in real life, but talking about those connections and like when you're in real life, you're making like, connections with others by speaking with them, by being in the space, by, you know, taking social cues. Um, like I said, I do have like I got a touch of the autism, and I tend to be an introvert. So when I'm in nature, I actually do not want to interact with people. For me, being in nature is part of time for me to be isolated and to go within and to try to like, I don't know, be with the self. Now, when I'm here, I also live with my family. I don't feel isolated because there's just always so much going on around me. So I need to go into nature to be alone. Unless it's like something like a festival or something like I don't know, a hiking event or a camping event. That's when I could physically like or and mentally prepare myself. Okay, I'm still going to be around others, but even in those events, I will go off to be alone. So in nature, I want to be isolated. I want to be alone so I could go within. Um, but after that happens, um, when I come back to a social setting, um, I will be more relaxed, right? I'll be calmer, happier, less reactive. And then of course, like raving about like why other people need to go into nature and why they need to also go into nature. And then I'll start inviting people with me, I guess. But for me, like I would say that being in nature resets the nervous system and it calms the nervous system so that when I do come back and do want to react and reconnect, I could do it much better.
And it's been very interesting to observe where more introverted people have said, I felt like talking more. More extroverted people said, I felt like going within more.
Mm,
And others have said, I was very present.
mhm.
And so the environment, that natural environment can change you in different ways depending on what you need from it.
I could definitely see more about being present. I mean, everything is just all the distractions are gone. All you have in front of you is what's always been there. And that's what you focus on. So yeah, I feel like a lot of the distractions of the world that we have just kind of fall away and you can be more present in nature.
It's difficult to not be mindful in nature.
It is, right? It's I that's why I rave about it. More people should go into nature and then put your damn phone down, turn your music off, like, just, be with what's present, what's right in front of you.
When I'm by the river, listening to the rushing river, I never listen to music. I don't even have a speaker down there.
Mm, yeah, that's your music right there.
Mm.
Jungle fire.
Jungle, jungle, jungle fire. uh, tell me your favorite IRL memory of us.
Oh boy. Uh, one of the times, it's actually not at a festival, but like one of the times where we went to the roof of your place when you were in Midtown, and we all came up, and I think we were all tranced out, and like there were like these. It was like 4th of July, and there were like these like old ladies and they were like, "Oh, where did you guys come from?" And we all just started fucking with them. They were just like, they, they were so like they were curious, but they were just so like taken aback, like, "Oh my god, these people are crazy." Oh, another one where you always have a way of challenging people. So when it was all you invited some of your normal friends and you had us and we were all like in the corner of the room, you're like, "I thought you guys were supposed to be open-minded." And I was like, "Yeah, she got us there, you know?" Remember that?
For those old women, I'm pretty sure it was yesterday for us and tomorrow or today for them. I'll tell you one, my favorite one of you
Oh, boy.
is on the dance floor together and you would cover your eyes or cover your face with a cloth and just dance so you're around others, but you're going within. And I was so struck by that. And I actually we were both doing it. Well, I had a frog suit where the whole
I
face
remember
sits up.
that. I remember the frog suit.
That's where I'm at this morning, shockingly. It's a little bit chilly here right now.
You
But
should have worn the frog suit. That
but we were both on the dance floor together going within because I zipped up the face and you had something over, and we were just very comfortable being around others, but still going within in a very profound way by just being willing to, dance in front of others, but in an entirely not self-conscious way because we can't even see what else is going on. It's just only that internal state. Oh, jungle fire!
There we go. Jungle fire. We're back.
Jungle fire.
Trance dance is what we were doing. And I have a friend, Yuka Lauren. She does this in New York City, where it's kind of like a journey. You start out slow, and then she goes up and up until we're like full on trancing out. And but we're all blindfolded, and so there's enough room. And she's the facilitator, where what happens is obviously when you're dancing around blindfolded, you might smash into each other. So she makes sure to keep everybody around, and like try to say, okay, kind of limit your movements to your own space, but sometimes it happens. But that was essentially what we were doing, like trance dancing, but in another way.
Let's flip the script. I want you to say something totally unhinged about the power of connecting IRL.
I wish there were more places to be naked IRL, you know? Right? Exactly, right? And it doesn't have to be sexual at all, you know? Love, we both love Gunnison Beach. I think, there's also I still haven't been, but there's Fire Island as well. But, just places to be outdoors naked, so, like, it would be great if there was, like, a naked hiking area, naked cafe, love, the spa, right? Naked spa, just maybe, naked. So I don't know about naked sports. You definitely want to control everything, depending on what's going flopping around. But maybe naked water sports. I don't know, like, but like again, I feel like being naked in real life with one another, like that is letting down all the boundaries. It's like literally the boundaries. Yeah. So
In a non-sexual way.
in a non-sexual way. I mean, like,
Mhm. Yeah.
connecting, not connecting, but connecting heart to heart. That is being very vulnerable, like being in a naked space and having to connect that way. Like that's a that's like next level connection to be like, connecting with somebody socially with no clothes on, with all boundaries down.
I brought up the non-sexual part because we do get naked with each other, but then we normally have sex.
Yeah.
Not you and me, but in general. So to do that and not have sex is where it changes. No, I had to hold a straight face. Hold a straight face. That's where that's actually the unhinged part, right?
Mhm.
Because a lot of people get naked together and then something sexual happens. That's very routine.
Mhm.
How often do you get naked with someone and you respect that boundary?
Yeah, I mean, that only happens, like, in a space such as, like, a spa. There are, like, things like naked camps and, like, naked communes and stuff, but unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I mean, it is what it is, but, like, usually they do have a sexual overtone, where it would just be nice to just be naked without that part.
Can we have naked jungle fire?
Naked jungle fire. Like, right now? No, I
Ah,
Of
is
course
that
you're
how this
down.
pod?
Yeah,
Is that how
that's
this podcast ends?
that's another wait, naked podcast would be a great that would be awesome.
Mm,
Jungle
a
fire,
non-sexual naked
naked podcast,
podcast.
yeah. I mean, there's,
Mm.
There's even like there's even a group that out here they do the naked comedy show.
Gunnison Beach is kind of like a naked comedy show.
It sure is. Yeah.
Ah,
People get real funny out there.
I love it. I want more naked jungle fire in the world.
There needs to be more naked jungle fire. Just why not? Why not? So yeah, more naked spaces to connect in real life that are again non-sexual and just like completely relaxed and
Mhm.
completely open.
Anything goes at the eco farm. We're very comfortable with non-sexual nudity. Can we get more unhinged?
Let's see. I don't know. I got class after this, so I can't. I have to then put it all back in and then work with children after this. So
On that note, I think it's time. I have to go back to my 5-year-old. On that note, I think it's time for both of us to get up and physically leave the screen and go back to IRL.
I think so too.
Rosalyn Luna Jones, I love you very much. You're
Thank you.
beautiful soul.
I love you too, Allie.
I hope to see you in real life very soon.
Very soon.
Have a beautiful day.
You too. You too, love. Take care.
We can say jungle fire in between every question.
So jungle fire.
Jungle fire. Do I call you Rosalind?
Rosalind.
Rosalyn. American Rosalind.
And
Be like jungle fire.
jungle fire.